All right, welcome back everybody to episode 61 of Taking Control. I'm Anthony Kane, Director of SEO here at One SEO, and I'm joined by CJ Bachman.
Hi everybody.
CJ, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day.
Absolutely.
I know that you are kind of always running around in and out of offices, but we appreciate you.
We make it work.
Having some time at the desk. Yes, CJ is our COO here, and she will be a perfect guest on this week's episode because we are covering company culture, and we think that that is certainly a huge piece in growing a business, wanting to not only internally, growing with hiring, but also acquiring more potential clients or sales or whatever it might be. So I think it'll be a great topic. And CJ kind of sees a lot of the different aspects of our culture here at One SEO. So I think that she will be a perfect guest. So I'm excited.
It's something that's important to me. So I'm happy to be a part of this episode.
Absolutely. But before CJ and I dive into some really awesome announcements from earlier this week here at the One SEO headquarters, we are actually going to pass it over to Rachel Lawler, who is going to do a very special edition of this week's Whiteboard segment. So Rachel, please take it away.
What's up guys, Rachel here, bringing you not only this week's Digital Buzz, but this week's Whiteboard Session. Today's episode is all about growing companies and company culture. Out of all the jobs I've done here, whether that's public relations, social media, internal communications, event planning, and operations, company culture is definitely my favorite because it's what makes One SEO, One SEO. So like a lot of other things, I know there are sales components, business components, etc. Culture also has its own. If you take a look at behind me, culture is a combination of these three things: attitudes, values, and behaviors. Not only is this the brand and this the culture you create from executive down, this is also what you want your employees to bring in. So, for a personal example, attitudes. Hardworking plus a value. Plus a behavior. Equals your company culture. This has been the Whiteboard Session. Ladies and gentlemen, please keep your eyes and ears peeled because the queen of culture, CJ Bachman, is going to tell you everything you need to know on how to grow your business from the inside out. From the whiteboard, it's Rachel.
Welcome back to this week's episode of Technologically Speaking. In addition to helping make sure that as your company scales and grows, you keep your culture in line with where you want it to be, you also have to make sure your technology aligns with your growth plans. Making sure that you have enough room for growth in your switches, your firewalls, your routers, all of your hardware equipment will save you a lot of money in the long run. You don't want to have to buy something today for 10 employees if you only have 8 employees, only to find out 6 months from now you planned on having 25 employees and you have to buy and pretty much throw away your old equipment. When you're preparing all of your growth plans, don't forget about technology. Buy up a little bit, leave some room for expansion and leave some room for growth. You're going to thank yourself and more importantly your budget later on. We'll catch you next week on Technologically Speaking.
Wowee! BJ Berge back with Rachel Lawler. First up on the list, Xbox is going to a subscription-based platform so you can lease the console. Leasing a console.
Yeah, never would have thought of it myself, probably because I'm not a video game person, but in the end, really big moves for a video gaming industry.
Yeah, I mean, it's different. It's a shocker. You have your PC subscription, that's neat and all, but the big picture here is something that you used to go and buy outright is getting more and more expensive, like a PC. We know that renting cloud computing or cloud computers and stuff is becoming a thing right now, so why not do it on the video game front? Be interesting if it takes off, because think of it this way, unless they're updating that tech constantly, what's the point? So things like Photoshop, Adobe, all that wonderful stuff, I pay a price, but when they update to the next version of the software on a monthly basis, when they update the next version of the software, I automatically get that as part of my subscription. So it makes sense for things like software titles, but when it comes to hardware, you have to be seen.
Yep, and I think just with the millennial Gen Z generation that are really so prominent about video games, I think it's gonna take off. I know if I was into it, I probably would. Subscription-based things are fun. Like makeup.
Like makeup.
And my clothes. Okay, next topic. So go take it away, BJ.
Sure, BOSE. It's a premium speaker company. You find them in luxury cars.
So nice, exquisite
as
quality.
Rachel would say, snaps.
Snaps for BOSE.
BOSE is a high-end premium speaker company, right? Amazon does great with their Echo devices. BOSE is actually making a top-of-the-line speaker with Alexa already built into it. So this is really huge from kind of two different angles. One, it's a direct contender for, Apple HomePod or whatever it is, with being like a really nice speaker. But Amazon's now competing with them with a partner, not necessarily somebody on their own. So they're gonna ride that BOSE brand.
Yeah, with that partner who's already number one in their industry as well. I know you have Beats, and Beats are really high end, but besides Beats and BOSE, those pretty much kind of take the lead. So I think it's a really good step for Amazon. They're now, not that they've never been competing, but they're now on the forefront. Where would you rather have Google Home, or would you rather have a BOSE speaker with Alexa?
Yeah, when it comes to the voice search and the voice assistant, Google Assistant is phenomenal. Mm-hmm. It's ahead of everything, but Alexa has its hand in more and more things with Amazon does with Alexa. So look for more connected devices coming from partners.
Absolutely.
That is going to, help solidify their
equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Third up on the list. So last year, February, I believe, Walmart bought a company called Moose Jaw. Now, Moose Jaw is an outdoor retailer, sells outdoor stuff like Cabela's and stuff like that.
Yep, think like camping, hunting, sporting.
Sports.
All things that don't
With that being said, they just acted on it, and they actually introduced a curated line on Walmart.com. So again, we spoke about Walmart in previous weeks, but Walmart is now becoming much more than they were to compete with Amazon directly. So they're getting all these other businesses that they're buying up, the acquisitions, and they're bringing them in so that they can bring more to their end users. And
besides just competition with Amazon and online stores, this is also them going against other stores like Target. Target is very well known for, combining with other brands like Hunter Boots. And I know there's a lot of designers that are doing that, a lot of baby, clothing brands. So I think not only is this a way for Walmart to compete with on the digital space, it's also them, trying to boost their brick and mortar stores, or their brick and mortar, I guess, just competition as well. Yep. So interesting. I'm Team Target, but I know there's a lot of people that are Team Walmart.
And at the end of the story, Amazon has what Walmart wants. Walmart has what Amazon wants. It's that brick and mortar versus the online real estate. So they're both dabbling in both sides. Amazon to Whole Foods and purchasing things from that perspective. Walmart is buying up these overseas businesses, these national businesses, and bringing them into their site and integrating. So they're both covering a lot more than they once used to. Be interesting to see how Walmart continues to develop and become a contender for Amazon if it does.
Absolutely. We've talked about Walmart, I think, almost every week at this point, so I only see them going up now.
On that note, we will see you guys next time. Appreciate it on the Digital Bus.
Bye.
All right, thank you, Rachel. We appreciate it. It's been a busy week here. It looks like it's been a busy week for you too. Speaking of busy weeks.
Yeah, speaking of busy weeks, so we've had some pretty great announcements this week. We have been running around as well, and we'll get to that in a second. But One SEO was announced that we made the Inc. 5000 list for the 5th year in a row.
5 years.
Which is awesome. So
it's a big
ever
deal.
since I started 3 years ago now, so I've been here 3 years, and we made it every year, which is great. And CJ, you go to that event every year?
Yeah, absolutely. It's really great to be able to meet other business owners who have companies that are really, really growing. And for us to be there 5 years in a row, we've met some really great people and built some really nice relationships. But to see our company still flourishing as we move further and further into it, it's been really awesome.
Yeah, sure. And I think it's it's really interesting too to kind of look at how one makes the list.
Yep.
It's based on that percentage growth. So you mentioned that it's hard to it's impressive to make the list, but I think it's really kind of more impressive when you're able to kind of sustain that growth over a period of time. Whereas a lot of businesses might see that huge spike their first year or two,
Yep.
and then they kind of taper off. But I think it's more or less pretty rare when you see businesses that are there for that extended period of time.
Yeah, and to know that there's only 5,000, and with that 5,000, like you said, you have a lot of people
Right.
who are just getting started, who have seen that really quick growth as their businesses have launched, and there's a lot fewer people who have really hit it 5, 6, 7, 9 years. I think they're 12 years in or 15 years in, so
Right.
we're looking to still be there as we, continue to grow.
Yeah, I think we will. I got a good feeling. Earlier this week on Monday, CJ and Lance and Bill and some of our executive team here were out of the office at a very special event. So CJ, I'll let you actually you probably have seen it by now on our Facebook. It went live on Monday at the event, but I'll let you kind of give a little bit of a synopsis of what took place there.
Yeah, hopefully I'll say it correctly, but we actually sealed the deal on our first official licensee
Yes.
of the One SEO brand. So basically, we partnered with Berge Creative Group. They are allowed to not only sell our product, but use our brand and help really grow their business and ours as well in this really great partnership.
Yeah.
We get the opportunity to work with their account managers, work with some of their accounts, while they also are able to utilize the One SEO product to really help their clients take their businesses to the next level.
Yeah, they're a special group of people over there, and I think Lance kind of saw that when this whole ball got rolling. And for those of you who know Lance and that know Jolynn, and their thoroughness and their commitment to customer service, you can kind of take that pretty seriously, just because they wouldn't just partner with anybody. They understand that it's going to be a legitimate partnership, and we're excited.
Well, that's the hardest piece, and we're
Right.
hoping as we kind of pilot this and go through this process that eventually we'll be able to spread all across the nation and do a lot more licenses. But for us right now, it is, like you said, partnering with someone that we can trust with the brand.
Sure.
It took us a long time to get where we are, but it also, our branding is something that's super important to us. We've talked about it on other episodes of
Yes.
Taking Control, but it's extremely important to be able to partner with someone that you can trust with that brand and know that they're going to do the right things in the same way that we do by our clients.
Absolutely. So whether it is here in Bristol with our first licensee or out west in Salt Lake, we are growing pretty rapidly. And
We are.
I think that's a perfect segue into, with growth, and I think with this kind of fits in with any company, right? So with growth, you really have to look at the company culture inside. And there's obviously always going to be those growing pains, especially with a company that might be growing a lot faster than other companies. There's always going to be those growing pains. There's always going to be things that you never thought you'd have to deal with internally that is always going to shock you. Can you talk a little bit about, obviously, you've seen One SEO grow probably 4x since you started. So can you talk about what that's been like and the role that culture should be playing into a company?
So for a company like ours, one of the biggest things is sustainability and scalability. And that really is contingent upon the employees there having the same mindset and kind of
Right.
being willing to follow us as far as we're going to take it. So with culture, I think the common misconception is that it's about the foosball table or the pool table or even the food. While those are nice to have and they're great benefits to have as you come into a company, for us, we have found that culture is more about the individuals, the bodies that are in the seats. The length of time that I've been here, part of the interview process when I'm actually sitting down and I'm talking to someone, I make sure that they know that, hey, listen, I owe it to you to make sure that the person sitting next to you is just as dedicated to our company, our organization, our clients as you are. And that's what we're building our culture upon. So we can take a look at the open office space. It's designed to create communication, which is good for culture. We take a look at some of the events that we do, our company annual Olympics that just passed. That's all designed to help people get to know one another so that they're more invested in the individuals. We get to really relate to our team members. It creates an environment that makes a good day even better and a bad day easier to tolerate.
Yeah, sure.
As you're dealing with clients and you're dealing with coworkers and you're dealing with bosses and however you want to kind of roll it out, you want a group of people that you know that you can trust and that you can work together. And that's a big piece of the culture.
Yeah, and you mentioned some of the perks that are more tangible, like you might see a basketball court, you might see food or whatever it might be, but it goes a long way when there is somebody who sits next to you or sits around you that is supportive, that is in your corner, that has that same drive as you. I think that kind of a perk can carry a person a lot farther than being able to shoot hoops at their lunchtime.
Yep.
So I'm certainly on the same level as you with that. And I think a big piece of culture too is just sort of that family atmosphere, and it's I guess it can be a little bit trickier with larger companies. I haven't actually worked anywhere outside of One SEO outside of college, besides like a moving company, but that was during college, Hercules Moving. But so I haven't said that can't say that I've worked for a company with 1,000 people, but I think at least here with 100 some employees that we still kind of maintain that same family atmosphere that I got when there was just 30 of us. So I think I think that certainly comes into play as well. And that really hits on what you mentioned.
It does. I mean, you have to, as an owner or a CEO or a COO, part of that culture is truly getting individuals that work within the organization to buy into it. If I want us to just grow and grow and grow and grow, I need all the employees to understand that, hey, I just want to grow and grow.
Right.
If we want to be able to keep that family atmosphere and know that we can support one another and that we're here for one another, I have to mean it, I have to say it, I have to act upon it, and that helps everyone else understand and be able to buy into that. Culture is cultivated over time. It's not something that just happens day one, and you really don't get to walk in and say, hey, this is what I want my culture to be.
Right.
Part of what we've developed was actually when we were about probably 25 employees in, was really sitting and talking to them. Hey, listen, what are some of the things that would help make your day better? What are some of the things that you would like to have inside of this office? We focused a lot on growth and development. What kind of trainings, what kind of mentorships can we put into place that are going to help people build a lifelong career versus just a job? Like you said, you've been here since college. We obviously have something that's keeping you here.
First
Not the
job
food, right?
Well, food helps. No, but and I think something that you mentioned that was really important was sort of it starts top down.
Yep.
And I think we certainly see that with Lance and Jolene get very involved with the employees here. They're not just set away in an office. In fact, I don't think Lance has used his office in 4 or 5 months now, probably.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So he's very much a part of the
Shout out to
floor.
Penn and Freddie, who are stuck in there
Yeah.
on a development project. Poor guys.
Utilizing that office, but you constantly see them out and about, and even just the executive team in general, just kind of out and about. And then the directors are all out on the floor, which I think certainly helps too. So just kind of setting that example top down, and it's not going to flip a switch and say this is what I want my culture to be, and then tomorrow that's what your culture is. It's really setting the example and trying to, like you said, cultivate that culture.
Yep.
Day to day over time.
I think in another episode we talked about customer service experience, which is a big piece of our culture, and that's what you see with, like you said, Lance and Jolene, having clients over to their houses, being available 24 hours a day to answer a concern. Those are things that the employees need to see, like you said, from the top down in order to really take that and make that their own as well.
Absolutely, and you mentioned the customer service experience and how it's sort of such a huge piece of our culture here. And I think that certainly is a great point, because when the phone rings, we know we need to answer. It doesn't matter who answers it. We know that as a team, we need to answer the phone. When there's a problem with an account, or we need to solve something, we know it doesn't just necessarily fall on one person and then they get that task. It's the group effort. It's how can I help you, or how can I make this easier for you to do? You probably don't get that everywhere. So speaking of culture, you can probably hear some happy birthdays going on right now. I believe it's Ben's birthday this week.
It is. Happy birthday, Ben.
Yes, another person who's been to the Inc. 5000 celebration. So
Exactly.
Ben, happy birthday. Special shout out on episode 61. It's actually a pretty good wrapping up point, just because I think we kind of hit what I really wanted to hit about culture and trying to grow the culture and really setting the example. I think this would be a great opportunity, CJ, since you are on and you do sort of, not so much as you used to, but have your hand in sort of the hiring and the growing of this company. You mentioned what you typically like to ask people when they come and things is the fact that One SEO is currently hiring.
So we are definitely always hiring.
Yes.
If you want to take part in the company culture that we were just talking about and kind of learn a little bit more about what makes us tick, go to the website, check us out. Apply. Some of the major positions that we're really looking for right now are definitely advanced web developers. We have a lot of development projects, so we would love to add you to our team. I know Penn and Freddie are looking to get some relief out of Lance's office, so make sure that you call. If you are a PPC specialist and you work on pay-per-click and with Google AdWords on a daily basis, that's something that we're looking for as well. We have client relation managers. We also have SEO technicians, your field over here.
Yes.
So there's a lot of positions that we have available. We are a full-service digital marketing and IT support agency, so there's just about something for everyone if you're interested in digital or you're interested in tech. So make sure that you guys reach out to us.
Yeah, and we certainly are aware of there's different personalities. Your left brain, right brain, however it works. But we do have people who love to get creative and do a great job at creating logos or business cards or websites. We've got people who are more like myself, where they're kind of head stuck in with all the numbers and looking under the
Strategy.
hood.
Yeah.
Yeah. So whether you're analytical, whether you're more creative, we certainly have a lot of positions. And CJ mentioned that rolling application process. So even if it's not a position where we're necessarily in need right now, certainly feel free to fill out an application and let us know that you're out there. We would certainly appreciate that
And
feedback.
the biggest requirement is, like we mentioned, that customer service experience. We want individuals who really can come in and mesh well with the culture that we've had, which is really created around providing that customer service experience.
Absolutely. So wannaseo.com/careers to learn more about how to apply for any one of those positions that we just mentioned. And we hope to see you in our office for an interview.
Yeah, absolutely. TJ, get ready. Resumes flying through.
That's right. Here they come. But this has been episode 61. I was joined by our COO, CJ Bachman, talking about company culture. CJ, thank you so much for stopping in. I know you're
Always
very busy.
fun.
Yes. And we'll have to have you on before episode 100.
I'm here.
And we'll see everybody next week for episode 62. We hope you have a great weekend, and we'll see you then.